Emotional game, Avery. Have you ever been in a situation where not you, but someone on your team has had beef with the opposing players?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that conversation like? Like, guys, I don't want to lose to this guy, man.
Yeah, it's mostly ex-teammates. It's like, this is going to be really embarrassing if I lose to my old team that I think is trash, so we got to win. It's also, you know, inter-regional beef.
Yep.
You just don't want to lose to people who begrudged you in the past.
So if you're Ramses, what do you think you're telling Kiyotaka?
Step the fuck up. Or you're out, kid.
The battle begins.
That's what I'm telling him. There's no way you want to lose this match right now if you are Quinn Dog versus Ram Dog. Who will be the bigger dog? That's why I had the dog on at the intro. You missed it.
I know. Dyrachyo's going to be giving away first blood. 9 Pandas, you may not have seen it at the very start of the game, started with mass tipping Dyrachyo. And of course, Dyrachyo has had a spotlight on him for maybe all the wrong reasons lately. He's had some rough games, some rough plays, and it's already going to be starting with eyes on Dyrachyo, it seems.
9 Pandas, they smoked out against Gaming Smoke, got the early D-ward, and then got their own obs up deep. So that is what enables that kill right off the bat. And this is a lane that they want to gain advantage in because Axe versus Monkey is tough. You have Bad Rider support, can definitely help a bit, but this lane matchup just sucks in general. Kiyotaka playing the Morph game early here. Should be a lane that's also favorable for him over the long run. And honestly, the most interesting pick in this game might be the Chaos lane. I don't know where this hero came from. Obviously, 9 Pandas wanted a fighting carry when they put this Morph mid, so they don't fall too far behind on the tempo versus greediness scale.
Sure.
But Chaos line was not one I had picked out in this game when Ace still had a counter pick, and Ace loves to play these Underlord, Tidehunter, big AoE control heroes that generally dumpster CK in the fights, and Monkey King is not that bad versus him in general anyway. I feel like it's pretty hard to just commit into the Wukong. But Ramsey is very comfortable in this hero. They wanted another stun initiator. They will get it. Enables the Pugna on the lane as well. And if he can ever land some Chaos Bolts on the Ember, he's going to feel real good about that one. Doubly so because it's Quinn.
We'll see whether or not that all comes to fruition. I do wonder if Tidehunter, like, are we going to go like a Crimson Guard Tide? Just because of the Chaos Knight matchup and how that would help his team? Or do you think Guardian Greaves is...
It's going to be Guardian
enough?
Greaves, Pipe, Ags, something of these three. I do think the Ags Tide is interesting in this game because it is something Gaming used to play between the Tide and the Ember back when Ace was playing this hero more.
Sure.
They really like the Ags Gush on top of the Slights. It's a nice little combination that you also get some more AoE magic damage for the CK in general with that Tide Ags. I keep calling for it. We never see it, so I'm going to stop calling for it. But if there were ever a game for it, it would probably be this one. And you know, I was in a Twitch chat yesterday. Quinn was in there. He was talking a little trash. I was talking a little trash. No harm, no foul. But I said I look forward to watching Quinn play Ember Spirit for the entirety of the rest of this tournament.
And then they promptly first phased Ember Spirit?
Yeah, they did.
What did he say?
And he said, lol, have you seen my Huskar? But I will say, lol, look what you're playing today, kid. One hero pool player.
I mean, if you can win every lane with Ember Spirits, why not? He is a little bit behind in this one. You did say it's a matchup that is advantageous to Morphling over time, but you've also said over and over again that Ember Spirit kind of gets out of every lane.
This is a hard lane to get out of. At some point, you're just getting out CS. Going for the burn on Dyrachyo. Level 2 Jingo plus boots. Hard to battle through here. I also wouldn't have minded if 9 Pandas had made the Bat Core and played 4-Axe here.
Yeah.
I know that is very unconventional, but I think the 4-Axe with Phylactery and the auras.
The Phylactery Axe, of course.
I actually think it's very viable, and then he can just build some auras here that they're kind of lacking anyway. Because none of their cores want to build auras in this game. And then you get a nice Bat versus Monkey matchup. I actually think it was something interesting 9 Pandas could have considered, but you got to have the will to bust out that support axe, which is a risky maneuver.
Some pro player's gonna listen to one of your casts, and they're gonna buy into
some. They all listen.
Yeah, okay. Well, one of them of all the pro players that listen to your cast, one of them is going to buy into your crazy idea, and they're going to do it.
That's not even crazy. It's just good. Zero needs damage and mana.
It's on your head if they lose the game.
Well, so be it. I gladly accept the challenge.
Okay.
And so far, this lane's going pretty well anyway. Hero getting into that cup position, the early first blood, another blood grenade.
Glib's back. Celery is still going to be run down by Nero, and he's going to get the spins. He's going to get the hit that ensures the kill. Now, Dyrachyo, thanks to the Jingu stacks, is going to be fine. He also has Boundless Strike coming up here in a second. So
yeah, but this is your Monkey Axe counterpick lane. And you are not even close to winning it at this point. All three lanes going 9 Pandas' way right now. And they should be very happy about that. Especially with the Monkey King getting shut down and the Morphling in a decent position to continue to accelerate. He forced Quinn to base on Ember before level 6. So that is going to be an expensive walk and an expensive TP. Might make some of these rotations to try and salvage the lanes a bit more difficult as well. Ace, of course, still having a fairly solid laning phase up here. Pretty quiet. He will be rushing that Meteor Hammer, as we've seen come pretty much the standard Tidehunter build. Helps you with the stacks, helps you with the towers, helps you in the fights. No stacks up so far, though.
And it'll help him control the Chaos Knight in the Phantasm, right? If he pops a Ravage and his Shard as well, he's got a lot of AoE stuns he could be throwing around. Ramsey's going to have a hard time putting damage in.
That's why I kind of question the CK pick. I don't think it was some absolutely free CK game, which is normally where I expect the Zero to come out.
Oh my god. Is he going to die for that? Oh my god, he's going to die for that. What? The random Hurricane from the neutral, and it also baits in Ramses to try and get a counter kill. He's going to die to this as well. The neutral somehow sets up a double kill for Tofu.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it set up Ramses there, but it definitely sucked in Solo, who regrets going near that camp.
I mean, it's a butterfly effect, Savory.
That's true. That's true. You got to save your buddy.
Somewhere a hurricane happens and a butterfly beats its wings. Get it? Because it's like the opposite of the...
That was terrible.
Chaos Theory.
It's absolutely terrible. On the upside, Dyrachyo got revenge bottom with a huge kill on Miro. They now pushes him way up the board.
But Miro's going to get revenge.
Oh, the grenades.
Right back. Blood grenade, blood grenade, blood grenade. Boundless Strike, turn around. No, he actually just goes for Antari. He's trying to slow him down. Didn't want to try and turn. Still has the heals, still has a kill, but will eventually die. The glimpse away. Oh no! Okay, Solo got him with the Nether Blast. Finally, I mean, they committed so much. If they didn't kill Dyrachyo there, it would have been an abject disaster.
Very tough to dive the Jingu here when you have very slow damage over time, but getting these monkey kills is really important that 9 Pandas enable their axe in this game. Ramses gets beat on by the hammer, and he is gone.
The early Meteor Hammer from the double kill they got earlier turns into another kill on Ramses.
Yeah, now Ace is already level 6. I don't even know if Ramses can come back in this lane. He's 0-2. A player we've seen destroy his lanes in a lot of these games.
Yeah, for sure.
Is now the one getting hammered on.
So it goes back to Kiyotaka and how he's doing in the mid lane, because these side lanes are suffering a little bit more, and there is a very, very large lead between Kiyotaka and Quinn. 34-2, 54-26. A huge number of denies from this Morphling.
This is very just inevitable. You can't really out-CS the Morph on mid, and Kiyotaka will pick up a double damage rune and force Quinn off the lane yet again. He's rushing Diffusal here on the Morphling. Pretty interesting build-up. I think it was generally Phylactery we saw, but there also used to be a Dragonlance rush build on this hero. Now I guess Diffusal has kind of picked up the place of the early Dragonlance. We've seen it on Sniper a lot. This is kind of the role it's filling for me, an early skirmish item that gives you some stats. Wukong will not be enough to get Antares here. A little desynced on the Glimpse ult. That'll free up some space for Miro to come back in the lane, but that tower is gone mid off that DD. Kiyotaka really putting in work for this matchup. 2,000 ahead of Quinn here. This has got to feel good for 9 Pandas. If you're going to shut down a player on gaming, I'm going to always take their mid laner.
Yep.
Because Quinn is generally their tempo setter, their playmaker. Ace is always stuck on an aura hero, and Dyrachyo usually takes longer to come online. So you have a lot of time right now if you're 9 Pandas to make the most out of the map. Bring your Chaos Knight online and start skirmishing between the Axe and the Morphling. I kind of like the Diffusal build-up for Kiyotaka. It's going to be an item that helps him scale, but also can be very active. The mana burn not insignificant on Ember, who needs it a lot. Even the Tidehunter can be mana intensive here.
Yeah, if you're a support and you get waveformed on and then inhibited by Diffusal Blade, you're not going anywhere. I feel like you just die straight up to the Morphling.
You might. Solo kill potential on the menu.
Yeah. And then all the mana burn against Ember, Tidehunter. It's going to be pretty potent. I'm surprised that Quinn was still in the mid lane. I would have thought you got 6 and just get the hell out of there. Gank some other lane.
It is interesting. He's just trying to catch up on his net worth. Maybe Gaming don't feel too rushed here. Maybe they just didn't see the opening on the sides. But these openings do exist, and it'll be Dyrachyo who will claim the Nether Ward in Solo's Skeleton Skull. 500 gold kill for Gaming off that rotation. More space bottom for Miero to continue getting to his timings this game, and another power rune for Kiyotaka. So every time Gaming make these moves, they're giving up little bits elsewhere, which might come back to haunt them, depending on how fat Axe can get. As he's just going to go the Blade Mail straight after Vanguard Blink, which is already done, by the way. Very good timing, and instantly puts it to use.
Wukong's command is going to go out with the lasso, threatens to pull him out. Nice interception there from Tofu. A good stun that'll end up in the kill on Bat Rider. They got to get away, though. Kiyotaka is here, and he is a bad mama jama. Kiyotaka, 5,500 net worth with a power rune. He is a big threat, and that's why Game of Gladiators bring Ace down here.
He regrets that teleport, though. He wants to use Ravage, but I don't think 9 Pandas are going to give him the opening, and that's a lot of space for Ramses to operate without Tidehunter constantly banging on his head. Another small exchange, Wukong used. Still a very even game here. If I'm Miero, I don't think I'm trying to force too many moves with the early blink. I think I'm just farming for Blade Mail and then try and take the fights. Because I think jumping into Gaming right now is a death sentence. You're going to give the Tidehunter counter initiation. Techies and Disruptor are going to punish you on both ends of that fight. And your follow-up damage is okay if Kiyotaka joins you, but not that fast between the Pugna and the Bat. That's the downside of the support duo. There's no like big Skywrath ult that gets thrown out and you instantly get a culling. But Miero is going to get smoked and make the move. This is a move that can go both ways. They're going to find Quinn solo. I don't think they have the damage for him. They're just going to back off. I mean, who do they want here? They're going to get nobody.
I guess they... I mean, if they weren't going to go for the Ember, then they had to be searching for the Monkey King, right? It's the only thing that really makes sense here. Tofu got to try and protect himself. Dropping a whole lot of mines. Kiyotaka trying to get range. TP out isn't going to work, and Tariz gives the vision to Kiyotaka to get the last hit.
It's an okay outcome here for the Axe Smoke. You also could have been farming Ancients, but you are taking space away from Gaming, shoving them out of the areas, creating some pressure on this bottom tower that will fall. And Ramses will come down here with his armlet completed, kick Dyrachyo out, claim that objective. So overall, decent outcome actually, considering they only got a support. And Gaming still haven't had an opportunity to use their big ults. They have Static Storm, they have Ravage, Wukong back up as well. They really want the big 5-on-5 where 9 Pandas overextend. Another reason I'm saying you don't want to necessarily aggressively smoke and give that opportunity to them, as Kiyotaka will claim a Monkey King.
Very big kill. Surprised Dyrachyo was still hanging out here, but Kiyotaka had an idea that he would be. Still playing the margins of the map.
That's that Diffusal Blade already paying off early. He's ready to fight. Whew. Quinn lucky to escape from the clutches of Miero.
Well, this is a Tidehunter that has not been able to protect his early outer towers. So while we were talking about how good a Tide game it is, and there's a lot of reasons for that, I would say one thing you like about Tide is protecting tier 1s. And they lost their mid and bottom one. Now top lane is under pressure. You get the pick off on the Disruptor. Probably not going to get too much more. I mean, they're going to try for it. Instant Ravage going to be used. Blink after the Ravage. Miero immediately gets stunned up. I feel like that was a pretty hard kill to get either way.
Yeah, but they got an ult out of it.
Oh yeah, well
they're definitely not sad. And I mean, this defusal gives you some decent chase potential. I don't know how unrealistic that kill actually was if you can proc a Kraken shell and then get the call afterwards. His Tide is not that tanky. I mean, he has decent HP, but his resistances are pretty bad right now. Nice little horn from Ramsey.
Leading the charge back to the neutrals. He's going to have Echo Saber soon, so his Chaos Knight is amping up the damage. He's definitely going to be the more powerful core in most of these team fights compared to Duracio's Monkey King.
And Gaming are looking for him. Quinn wants to stand by his words and continue to punish Ramsey's scoreline.
Missing the chains.
That was an arcane rune for him too. Not getting the fight out of that, a little sad here. Quinn's game continues to be incredibly slow.
Yeah, lowest net worth by far, 1,300 behind his own teammate in Duracio.
I mean, they really need to start finding some openings for him soon. His first phase Embers are, I mean, they're ballsy picks, because this hero has a tremendous amount of lane counters. Morphling is one of them. You get behind, then you have to be confident you can make it up somewhere else and still contribute. So far, 0-0-0 for Quinn. Very quiet game.
Oh no! The clip interception there, Tofu missing the blast off. As a result, they're still going to get the glimpse back and get both the kills.
Right on cue. Even without the Ravage, Ace comes in with a pipe. That gives them all the confidence they need to take a heavy skirmish there and punish this Axe before he can finish up that Blade Mail. Miro went back for a phase boot, so it's going to delay it a little bit more. Kiyotaka is going to be left to defend this tower on his own. Now you have Ravage coming back up. So Gaming can continue to play aggressive here, just forcing fights, dragging them back with glimpse. This is how they want the lineup to function. Ace continuing to be the one extremely consistent player for this team. He just doesn't have a bad game. He's top of the net worth. That's absurd when you're playing versus a Morphling who had free farm, ganks, a monkey kill. Like, Kiyotaka's had a great game, and somehow Ace is still ahead of him on a Tide Hunter.
He's set up kills, he's set up towers. They're gonna run it. Ramsey's got a glimpse back on him too. Unable, oh, he doesn't have Phantasm. They do get the Ravage onto the two of them with the Meteor Hammer. They're both gonna die here. Oh, Ramsey's actually pops the Phantasm and does manage to get away thanks to Crepify. Big heals coming out from Solo. Meanwhile, the lasso back on a Tofu. It's gonna leave him in a bit of a pickle. Quinn is running low on mana, and he dies, actually. Gets bursted real quick.
Oh, where's that
Duracio goes back into this one with the Static Storm. Wukong's mana, they do manage to get the counter kill onto Kiyotaka. A big trade-off there. Quinn for Kiyotaka. Feel like that would be well worth it for Gaming Gladiators, except for the fact that Ramsey's got away.
Just walks it off. This looked terrible for 9 minutes at the start, because you blink in there, you stack your cores. That is just free fight for Ace. But the damage follow-up's not there. Monkey King is not at the start of this fight, and it hurts Gaming a lot as Ramses walks it off and ends up getting the return kill on Quinn. Duracio shows up at the end, will get Kiyotaka a 4x streak as well, so that's a 1,000 gold kill. I mean, he picked up half that streak in this fight alone. So still an overall win for Gaming, but you're not getting your Ember back in the game in the position Quinn wants to be, so that's the downside here.
Do you think Ember Spirit requires to have a good game, or can Monkey King carry most of it?
It is a very good Monkey King game in terms of the core matchups, but the Bat and the Pugna are very obnoxious for the hero.
Sure. They're
going to mess with your ult. The Decrep can save people in Wukong as well. You're going to get kited out. You need a Nullifier at some point in this game for Duracio, which looks like it's going to be third here. I think Nullifier is great this game, but I also think when you build it second or third on a lot of these carries, it doesn't always feel great. It's not one of those crazy stat items for carries like Butterfly or Scotty or Satanic that makes you feel invincible. Yeah. It's just damage and anti-utility. So the fact he has to go with third is a double-edged sword here. I still feel like 9 Pandas are pretty comfortable in their position in this game as long as they don't get caught by the massive stuns and net worth of Ace. He is the real factor here, and he is going that Ags on the Tidehunter. I think this is the correct call. just play to boost up your AoE and impact even more.
Got the initiation onto Tofu, but they are going to be slowed down, not able to get the pull up to the high ground, and Tari's is just giving up his life to try and ensure a kill, and he does manage to get it. Miro cuts in, though, gets called, now backs away. Playing around this tier 1 tower where Ramses wants to take the fight. That Static Storm is not quite enough, thanks to Solo healing him up. They're getting out of the Wukong's command. Ace had the Ravage ready to go. It just came up, but 9 Pandas were already retreating, so he judges that it's better to hold on to it for a better fight.
That better fight, it's coming, but you're also going to let 9 Pandas get the BKBs here.
Yeah.
Which is going to nullify a lot of Ace's damage impact in those exchanges. Kiyotaka's very close to his BKB after Dragon Lance, actually, just based on how farming is. Ramses is closing in on his, and you're going to have a Crimson Guard for Miro as opposed to that Blade Mail. So the tankiness in this next round of items for 9 Pandas is going to shoot through the roof. And they're going to look to take that fight into a Roshan if you leave it for them. So if you're gaming, you need to make the most of this window where your Tide is still the massive threat he is, and your glimpses and Techie's damage can still have reliable impact.
Pickoffs like this will go a long way.
Absolutely. This is also extra gold to get Quinn back in the game, keep bumping him up. And one of the biggest issues has just been Solo. The sucks on the back end of these fights. They don't have gap close for the Pugna, and they are getting punished very hard. As Pavis plus Life Drain, keeping all of these heroes alive. This is one of the combinations I like that is defensive for Axe. I rarely say that, but we've seen this Pugna Axe do some decent work in a lot of games. We saw it for LGD yesterday. In fact, the defensive aspect is nice for Axe in terms of Axe going in, you can keep him alive for a second jump. But the way Planet was playing that yesterday, he was dropping the ward with the shard and sucking the ward onto the target that Axe jumped, which was kind of cool. So you have some aggressive potential. But I do like this combination. You get to take really long fights. When Axe goes in, you have the Pugna ward to back him up versus a lot of spell damage, which is one of the things that causes his hero problems. Right? He doesn't care about the physical trade, but he cares a lot about the magical trade. Pugna ward punishes you a little bit on that. Just a lot of little nice things that make this combo pretty interesting. And this is gaming trying to accelerate the timings, push ahead of those BKBs, which are coming for 9 Pandas, but are only there for Kiyotaka. Oh no, Ramses finished his too. God damn, he farmed that fast. So 2 BKBs are up for 9 Pandas if they can get in here and contest it, and they will.
Gaming Gladiators going to play on the high ground here. 9 Pandas going to have their smoke break, and Tari's just runs headlong into Ace. Immediately going to take advantage of this one. Gets the
we got 3.
Everybody with the Meteor on top of that one. Where's your BKBs? They finally pop him now, but Ramsey's just going to have to walk it off while the rest are left behind. Miro's going to die, and it's only going to be Kiyotaka and Ramses. Maybe not even Kiyotaka. He's forced to use his BKB in order to TP out successfully. That was a well set up defense from Gaming Gladiators and a big stumble from the Pandas.
As well as that defense was set up, it also felt like 9 Pandas just quite literally walked into it.
Yes.
Like Ace just walks into them and ravages 3, plus the bat who's dead. I mean, indeed. Hammer on 3 as well. They're all stuck at Wukong. They're all stuck in field. I mean, Ramses is fine with BKB, but your Axe is gone. Your supports are gone. You get nothing off. That just cannot happen. And Ags was done for Ace as well, so that Gush comes through and just slows them all. You get the armor, the Slight starts doing more, the Wukong's doing more. Ace has absolutely put gaming on his back this time around.
That was such a critical team fight too, because I think when I saw the BKBs coming, I was like, oh man, you're gonna kind of regret the Ags a little bit on time, right? Because a Blink Dagger would feel a lot better, right? You'd have a lot better chance of being able to get a good Ravage against the BKBs if you can Blink Ravage in and catch him by surprise. But now, after winning that team fight, he has the Axe, but he also is halfway to his Blink Dagger already, and it's unlikely that 9 Pandas are gonna feel good about fighting. Maybe they can get this pick off on the Aegis and get out, but the Meteor Hammer strikes 2 of them. They're not going to turn around and try and kill Dyrachyo a second time, or maybe they will. Solo and Ramses
get his BKB.
Slightly different calls. They do manage to get that out of him.
I mean, they know there's no Ravage right now, so they're a lot more confident taking these clumped up initiations, and that's your Aegis gone. Pretty much just wasted here. 9 Pandas still keeping this a very close game despite the fights and the objectives going gaming's way. Like you said, that Blink for Ace is going to be a big deal. Can you get the Blink stuns before the BKBs and chain it? That's a big question. I'm not sure. Like, that's a risky go. It's almost more conservative to just play for the Gushes and try and force their BKBs out by just wearing them down and then save the Ravage. That is another route in these fights.
Okay, I will agree with that, but how do you wear them down without using Ravage, Wukong's Command, and Static Storm, right? You've got 3 like AoE, you want them to stay in this AoE sort of deal that aren't effective versus BKB. How do you get them to use BKBs without using those spells?
You just gotta poke them down. Throw out a Gush, throw out a Slight, hit them with a Boundless Strike. Maybe they run away, you glimpse them back. There are ways that gaming have to set up some of those pokes, but the more spell immunity that comes out here for 9Pandas, the more difficult it's going to be. I also think Antares BKB feels pretty important here to 9Pandas.
Yes.
Having the spell immunity for the Bat Rider so you can go in and start these fights, and I mean, who else is initiating? It does not feel like Miro is confident enough to go in with this Crimson Guard build. He kind of wants to be alive to get the buff off. Doesn't have the Blade Mail yet either, so his Blink initiation is 0 damage. Maybe the Kiyotaka Ags is the answer too. Maybe he'll feel confident to just go in first with BKB Ags and steal the Monkey, steal the Ember. Turn those spells around. But god damn it. Ace has not put in work this game.
Oh, certainly. And even with all his work, it's still a pretty even game. Ramses didn't go for it, but simultaneously stuck around.
Trying to save his BKB.
Yeah, he may have to use that to TP out. In fact, he pretty much has to.
At least he got a full reaction from gaming.
True.
Instead of just wasting it there. A lot of TPs on the map. Space for Kiyotaka top. Gaming will have to run back. Try and cover this ground. If he can get to Silver Edge on the Chaos Knight, that's also a big item in this game. Just being able to go in and break the tide, and then all of a sudden you can just call him, you can lasso him, probably burst him with the BKB Morphling. There's no counterplay from gaming if that happens.
Yeah, that's
that is a big team fight shifter. Because what's your save for Ace if he's the one suddenly getting broken and killed? Another Hurricane. Not helping 9Pandas out here.
It really hasn't. No BKB, I don't think. Kiyotaka should be fine, unless he gets hit by this blast off, but he waveforms out before it's even possible to land that.
Very hard for gaming to kill the Morphling in this game. They pretty much are only going to kill him in an extended fight where 9Pandas commit everything and they just end up winning it over the long term. Or you get that Blink Ravage, which is up now for Ace. There's always a factor, but where's the vision going to come from for that? That's what I kind of go back to. Like, is Ace going to just see these big core heroes from 9Pandas to ravage them? You're going to have a Shadow Blade into Silver Edge for Ramses. Kiyotaka does not need to show first. And the way the 9Pandas supports play, they are very aggressive supports in the fight. I don't know if Solo knows what a backline is.
And we saw the way Antares just kind of charged in there with that Roshan attempted fight. You say attempted because I don't really think they fought back too much in that one.
No, but now he has BKB, which I do think is maybe the more important BKB for the 9Pandas here.
Sure.
He can go in first. He can create the vision, create the space, scout out the Tidehunter, protect his cores, and still find an initiation. There are no BKB interactions here for gaming. It's just free reign.
He's going to pop the last build, but he doesn't pop the BKB. He does manage to get a really good call out. Miro is going to try and kill Tofu, but he Static Storms, so he won't be able to get it.
Did a lot of damage. Maybe 9Pandas can try and turn if gaming overextend. They still have Ravage, though. Have to be wary.
Thinking about it. Doesn't pop it. Kiyotaka actually uses his BKB, and Ace will just be able to walk away.
9Pandas did a lot of damage in that fight, but not on one single target. So gaming will claim 2 and walk it off.
They did more damage than Gaming Gladiators, but got 0 kills, and Gladiators got 2.
And Ace was trying to bait the BKB with the Ravage.
Yep.
He can go in and you know, juke this ult. It's a wise play from him. It does not cost him much. He's way too tanky for them to turn around, at least until that Silver Edge. Then it's a different story. But for now, he is the king
That's why I like the shard so much, because you can blink and use the shard. If it lands, okay, follow it up with the Ravage, chain stun him. And if not, well, you get him to use BKB, and great.
It is a very nice aspect. See if he picks it up
Almost
later.
catching Dyrachyo here. Ramses plus the Observer Ward, getting a bit of vision, but Gaming Gladiators
Ooh, they're in a 5-man smoke right now.
disappear into the night. 9 Pandas will pursue after them.
This is your Ags morph.
Dire's top tower.
This monkey steal really hurts the attack speed for Dyrachyo.
But will it matter if you get off a good enough Wukong's command?
No. If 9 Pandas fight in the gaming ults, you're not winning that engagement. But that is easier said than done for gaming here. This is a very, not necessarily mobile lineup, but a lineup that can space very evenly in the fights. The cores for 9 Pandas do not need to all just commit in together. You can play the outskirts with the Morph and the CK with Shadowblade. The Axe can pick and choose his jump because he has a second initiator and the Bat Rider who can frontline. And you have Pugna Ward to buff, or you have Pugna to buff these heroes up and get them out of the fight so they can re-engage.
And repositioning is also, I think, hard to get off good Wukong's command if you have somebody getting repositioned, you know, into 9 Pandas' side of the fight. Kind of like have to hop in after them. It's a lot more awkward than just 9 Pandas walking into you.
And you don't have BKB control. So if you go in aggressive and you Wukongs these 9 Panda cores, I mean, what stops them BKBing and walking out of your ult?
Yeah.
Not much, unless you're just dealing such a significant amount of damage that they get bursted. Which just doesn't feel like it for Dyrachyo's game. It's very high armor cores.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Kiyotaka is going to push towards a Scotty. I really feel like Scotty and Silver Edge for 9 Pandas, and they are in a very solid position because suddenly that Tide, who has been the bulwark of a lot of your team fights, is just not scary anymore. And that Silver Edge is done. So the fight is a lot more straightforward for 9 Pandas. You can even just go in and lasso the Tide. You're not going to do that much damage to break the Kraken and then drag him into that Silver Edge break. That sounds like a pretty decent team fight to me.
Sure. Question is 9 Pandas both thinking about that and able to execute that? It all comes down to a lot of vision and mind games here. Gaming Gladiators,
they're going through the gate.
For Roshan.
They know what's waiting.
Great. Oh, Ramses.
He can break him.
He's right on top. They get the call. They immediately break him down.
The Dream.
Gladiators have stumbled into an ambush. They can almost
God.
heroes inside of it. The ones
It's
that
a
don't have
massacre.
BKB are still fine though because there is no damage. Everybody is dead. Blindly going through a portal like that.
I do not recommend. 9 Pandas were ready and waiting. The trap has been sprung. They got a gem out of that. They got a 4-man wipe. And you could not ask for an easier break initiation for Ramses. It got gifted to him.
That was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
You know what actually almost screwed him there? He clicked the portal instead of Ace. The Ramses actually started going through the gate here because he misclicked Ace. He was like, wait, I don't want to go through. The call bails it out, though. Stops that Ravage from going off, and then you're just stuck in a mosh pit of death.
Quinn literally just ran through 4 heroes and died.
Ramsey scratching his head like, all right, I guess we got him, boys. Good team fight.
Well, Gaming Gladiators certainly learned a lesson from that one, and Roshan is up now, so they can maybe scramble and play for it.
Yeah, Dyrachyo was not in
Ravage.
that. Of all the people you expected to be in that, Dyrachyo was not, so he finishes Scotty, and still very farm on this monkey. You cannot underestimate the power of Wukong in an anchor fight if you can somehow land it.
This is a bit overconfident from 9 Pandas. You just killed Gladiators, but you also didn't get any spells out of them.
No, so that fight went well because you got the break on Tide. That's not necessarily guaranteed again. That was like your one initial pop. Ace is going to be more wary of it. And you do not want to get stuck in this Roche pit versus the Ravage versus the Wukong. So 9 Pandas are going to try and take this fight outside of that clumped area. There's the Bat Rider initiation, the free BKB.
Antares didn't get it immediately. He is going to be able to get the lasso, but not up to the high ground. Antares, they do manage to get the Ravage out. Ramses is turning and fighting, though. He has BKB and is trying to fight for his life, and he does manage to bring down the Tidehunter first. He's resetting now.
Dyrachyo in the man fight.
Command is coming out.
They kited it.
All reset out of it. Dyrachyo has to chase Miro out of it, and he does manage to get that kill, but the rest of the team is already kited backwards, recovered, bought back, and they're ready to re-assault for Roshan.
Yeah, Kiyotaka's eaten some lotuses out of the
Oh,
pool.
the battle hunger has slowed him down so much he couldn't actually jump into the trees. Despite the Glimmer Cape, Dyrachyo could not get out.
This game is getting hard for gaming. The Tide Hunter, for all he's done this game, is suddenly hitting a brick wall in this Chaos Knight with the Silver Edge. I mean, you get a Ravage on Ramses, but you can't chain it. These stuns do not last as long as they used to. He has Titan Sliver for some extra status resist. Pretty much guarantees Ramses is going to get a BKB off, and then you're the one stuck inside of all of his illusions getting broken. Just melts. That type of fight setup is not going to work anymore for gaming. They need some new approach. And again, Wukong, catch an axe. Everybody else just walks out of it.
Yep.
The lack of BKB disable, it's a big problem right now. I think you have to kind of take these fights more casually, like go in with some gushes, put the monkey in first, let him man fight a little bit, and save your ults to connect later. But that window is a hard window to fight through. Like the 6 or 7 seconds of spell immunity for 9 Pandas feels like Dyrachyo is just going to die.
You know what I realized? Dyrachyo died because of battle hunger on him, right? But they killed the axe. It's because Quinn took the last hit on the axe kill instead of Dyrachyo.
Well, old habits die hard, my friend.
Pulled out of his base, Tofu. They don't want to get too close, apparently. Afraid of what could come, but they do eventually kill him.
And hard done for Ramses. The damage going into this Chaos Knight is not what it used to be, especially with that Mage Slayer. Outside of the Monkey King right clicks, there is not much threatening him right now, and he knows it. Quick crash. It's always solo, man. Why is it always solo? This guy needs a new PC, bro. I don't know what else to tell him.
Yeah, but they're on boot camp.
Did they just? I bet they just gave him the trash computer.
You're the 5 position. You don't really need to worry
Here,
about
old
it so
man.
much.
You can't even see the frames anyway.
Or maybe he specifically requests an old PC to feel like more comfortable in his environment.
Yeah, I can only play on some 90 CRT with an old single-core processor.
Yeah, you request dial-up for the internet.
Can I get a lower hertz, please? It's refreshing too fast.
I could see too much of the game. It's probably one of those players that like doesn't use the full screen. He goes window mode and really narrows it down.
I've been kind of impressed by how impactful this Chaos Knight pick has been. It's looked really damn tanky relative to how much AoE I thought gaming's lineup had. But I guess a lot of their AoE is kind of soft AoE. It's not some big spell that messes them up. Like the damage from the AoE is not significant, right? Static Storm, a Techie's Blast Off, a Ravage. They're all great AoE control spells, but it's not just demolishing the illusions instantly.
Well, one of them would be Slight from Quinn.
But he got shut down.
Yeah, he was so shut down in the mid lane. And we haven't had the best Wukong's commands around a lot of these Ravages. Like, I feel like I haven't seen a single play where we have Ravaged and Wukong's commanded basically at the same time.
It hasn't happened. And you have to go back. I mean, if you want to win this game at this point, you're going to need it. Because I don't think you're winning a team fight any other way except going in with both those ults and killing a big core between the Chaos Knight and the Morphling. Still, you're going to have to deal with all the saves, right? You might be able to get a glimmer off from the Pugna. Miro might be able to jump in and interrupt some of that. And now that you're dealing with Aegis, Heart, and Cheese between the 3 cores of 9 Pandas, that is a lot to go in and burst. Celery's trying to do the math. It's like,
Celery has popped in a Philly Stone because he's trying to work towards this Aghanim Scepter, which is just 900 gold away.
That's a big item.
It is.
That suddenly makes the Ravage threat a lot more convincing here.
Yes. If you hit that Ravage, now you've actually got the chain stun to prevent the BKB.
Yeah, there's your BKB control that you're looking for in this game. Suddenly, someone's trapped in a static field, kinetic field. Now you can lay that Wukong down and get the time you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, his comp actually died.
Wow.
Well, That's what happens when you play too many Tinker late games, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, his PC has just been overwhelmed by the Tinker versus Phantom Lancer matchups.
Like, if Kiyotaka's hero pool wasn't so toxic, Solo's PC would probably still be alive. But unfortunately, that is the mid laner you've chosen for your team.
You need an IT professional to detox his PC.
You must face the consequences here. It's all the Phantom Lancer too, man.
So what? They may just they've got 7 minutes to swap out a PC. Let's see how good their boot
7
camp is.
minutes. It's barely anything.
Well, they had 10 minutes.
That's still not a lot, honestly. We'll see. Sometimes gaming, the other team's allowed to give them their time, so we'll see if gaming's polite here, or if that's in the rules.
Well, don't even.
You think Quinn's going to give Ram Dog some extra time? You think Ramses would even accept it? I think he'd refuse. Keep your time and just go without Solo.
Go.
We don't need him. I mean, that is a CIS classic, right? The go when ready, we're ready.
Go.
I'll micro his hero over taking time from you, sir.
Maybe Quinn will specifically gift it to Solo. Like, not Ramses, but I'll give it to Solo.
That's what he's thinking about here. It's like the second I can unpause on these clowns, I'm spamming that button, boys. F9.
F9.
His other hand's on F9 right now, wearing that key out.
What did you do during these? Did you ever have like really long pauses in your professional matches?
Yeah, everybody has them eventually. Somebody gets sick or has to go to the bathroom.
What was the
PC dies.
What was the most unique situation that happened to you?
What, in terms of the reason for the pause?
Yeah.
I don't remember what we were playing. I think it might have been a scrim. It might have been an official.
Okay.
This story is an embellished story, by the way, but you'll enjoy it anyway. I remember at some point we were in the basement of our facility in New York for VGJ when we brought Resolution in.
Mm-hmm.
And Resolution paused the game and said he could not he said he could not play anymore because the smell coming out of the air vent was too bad.
I mean, Elusive was from the air vent. I thought you were going to say the smell of one of his teammates was too bad.
And I'll tell you, something died in that air vent because it was pretty damn bad. He refused to play. But I don't think we ever fixed it. So we didn't play through it. Well, I mean, how do you fix it? Something like crawls in your air vent and dies.
Okay,
what
but what about
the
next day and the next day?
It's tough luck, kid. You shouldn't have taken the seat on the far end. I don't know what to tell you. Welcome to New York, brother.
Rezo travels across the world.
That was why it was ironic.
Join this North American team.
Oh my God, it was so sad, dude.
He ends up in this basement, this dark New York basement.
Okay, it wasn't dark.
Underneath,
it was a little dark.
Underneath a vent with a dead rat inside.
Oh, I thought it might have been a dog.
What? What? Why would you think it's a dog? What is wrong with you?
I'm not saying I wanted it to be. It was just a very strong smell.
What, you smelled it and you were like, oh, that's not quite rat. That's more of a dog.
Well, I'm just saying, like, usually a rat, it'll decompose at a faster rate. It's a smaller amount of biomass, so it's gone within a couple days. I felt like that was a larger animal in there, man. It could have been a person.
I mean,
going to New York? It could have been a dude in there. I don't know. Either way, I just remember him getting really mad one day about it. And I did feel a little bad, but...
And yet you did nothing. And your manager did nothing to try and fix it.
Well, I'm not going to swap to that chair, number one. I'm the captain. I get priority. Who else was stepping up? No one else was stepping up. And two, our manager was Jack.
Oh, God.
You know he ain't doing shit. I'm pretty sure he came down. He's like, oh, yeah, that's bad. And he just left. It's like condolences.
What the hell?
So that was an interesting pause reason. Was that a sufficient story for you?
That was a great story. I still can't get over, like part of your personality that you bring is this hard-ass, suck-it-up kid, like... We all had to go through the we had to go through the trench, but that was a trench of your own making.
We were all in there together. I could smell it. You don't think I could smell it? You don't think I could smell it? And I had to play through that? I was just man enough
to fix it.
How do you fix that? How do you fix that?
You get somebody to go into the vents.
Ooh, Quinn on pause. They gave him a question. Ramses gave him a question mark. Wait, are they out of time? Oh, Quinn said go. Ramsey said sec, and then Quinn went anyway. That's why he's giving the question mark. I told you. He's spamming it, bro. He's spamming that F9.
No, it's because he has Ramses muted.
Oh, it's true.
So he doesn't see the sec. He just says go.
100% they have each other muted. Either way, we'll resume the game where we left off, which is Aegis Cheese and a heart push for 9 Pandas as they push into the heart of Gaming Gladiators base. And Celery still looking for that Ags, but he is a ways away, which means you're going to have to take this fight the hard way into the BKBs.
Nullifier Boundless Strike for what?
For morale.
I think it did the opposite. I think it maybe hurt morale.
Well, that's
I think you're
still
looking
something.
at it doing how little damage we did.
Gush is coming through, but Heart will help regen that, and that is a free lane of Rax. They'll leave nothing but the illusions of Ramses to haunt Quinn in his dreams.
I guess they're going to try and wait for the Aghanim Scepter on Disruptor. That's the only thing that I see that
Yeah, they need it. They need it.
get to.
I actually think they need it to win the fight into the Aegis, especially.
Yeah.
They're going to send Miro back, so this will give some breathing room to Gaming. And they're going to prioritize giving some of these creeps to Celery. A wise decision here.
That was a massive wave that Miro just picked up, by the way, so he almost has Aghanim, BKB, rather.
Another BKB to cause problems here on top of his cheese.
But one more BKB that could be useless if Ace hits the perfect initiation. I mean, he's already done so much heavy lifting. I hate to put the pressure on him, but this is really what it comes down to, right? He either hits the Ravage and catches them before their BKB, or he doesn't, and I think they just flat out lose.
I think it has to be more than one hero too, maybe.
I think so.
I don't even know if one's enough. But that Axe is completed on Celery, so that Ravage into the Static Storm jump is there. And the first time you do it is the best because you're going to catch 9 Pandas by surprise. They're not going to be thinking about popping their BKBs early. Might just be happy to tank the Ravage, and then unhappy they did. High ground ward for Gaming, and he's going to find the Morph.
Boundless Strike into the Ravage. They caught the Morph link. The
Didn't even
blast
need it.
afterwards, they didn't need it. So he can use it on the second life.
Oh,
Static
this is
Storm.
good.
Morph link's in trouble. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. There's no amount of saves that Miro can do to stop this one. In fact, he's going to have to eat the cheese to keep himself alive. TP out. And it is it was a 9-second BKB. It was a fresh BKB, so he's able to make it out. Solo. See if he can get away. Nope. Dust immediately reveals his position. 3 dead, and they got through Aegis and Cheese. You were right. The first time you're able to do it, catch him by surprise, it's all the more effective for it.
And they didn't even need Static Storm to kill the Morph the first time. That is a very good sign for Gaming. If you don't even have to drop it to get the big core kill, you get him twice for the price of 1 off the high ground ward. Just some too much casualness from 9 Pandas, not respecting that smoke can come from Gaming on that high ground ward, and maybe not thinking about this Disruptor Ags, but these are the factors that win or lose you games versus an incredibly solid team. And now Gaming are going to push their advantage with the breath of life they've been given here. Dyrachyo is approaching his 5th slot with that butterfly, and he has Penta-Edge Sword for some extra range. The barracks are going to fall, and they're going to even out this game. Ramsey's cutting some waves. He's slowing this down a bit. But Gaming will get what they wanted off of that Disruptor Ags, and that is why sometimes you prioritize the 5.
Sometimes. Now, they couldn't go for 2 lanes of barracks, and there is no Roshan up, so we may just come back to a stalemate.
Now Ramsey's looking. He knows there's no Ravage right now.
Sure.
Decent time to try and find a pick off, maybe force the fight, but that is Butterfly completed for Dyrachyo. And a Shiva's for Quinn. Big items suddenly coming through for Gaming. They're getting some tankiness of their own. They're getting to that late game. And that window you had to just close this out if you were 9 Pandas, it slipped away a little.
Yeah, how do you hit high ground if at any point in time you can be Boundless Struck and then chained into Ravage? Right? Like BKBing before Blink Ravage, that's possible. But Boundless Strike can just appear out of nowhere.
You have to find Disruptor. I go back to Antares in this game. This Batrider has to find the jumps first so you can start the fight on your terms if you're 9 Pandas and commit the BKBs in. You can also find a core and just BKB and kill that core, but yeah, the high ground's an issue because the buybacks are going to be there. And then you're stuck in a longer fight versus that Static Storm once you're committed.
That was a heavily laden courier right there. Octarine.
Yeah, there's a lot of network
was
missing.
pretty much full, and Tidehunter will not be able to get that for himself. But they will still smoke up and still try and take a fight, and they have kind of like an Octarine. Quinn gets an Arcane Rune.
On top of Spell Prism, he is very strong right now. And
They spot Ramses right now. They're
want
going to
the
go
jump.
for it. Found the strike. Ravage.
That was so close. The storm.
And the mine's going to be laid out. And the tentacle came out and hit the other three. A big swing. They do have the buyback, though. With that Ravage and Static Storm now down, Gaming Gladiators have to rethink the rest of this fight.
Yeah, they need to get the hell out. Ramses is looking. He'll find a straggler. Remember, there's still Wukong up.
There is. They're going to be walking
They're
into
gonna
this
try
one.
and turn.
This is a dangerous point. Miro, he's going to be the first one down, and Ramsey's trying to get out. The heal comes through. Thanks to his BKB, he can walk out. You can see him try and heal up a little bit, but he got glimpsed back. He didn't respect it enough. That's a dieback for him, and that is just straight up the end of the game. There's no way this Morphling can handle this by himself. In fact, he dies immediately afterwards. Solo's the last one down, and it ends with a Quinn Ultra kill.
From the start of that game, getting massacred in lane to massacring them with an Arcane Rune, Spell Prism, Ember Spirit. Some nice timing to hit their stride. They hold